Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana. And this is your, I don't know, chain reaction report. I'm having a real chain reaction these days. You know, I just want to talk to you. I'm not going to take up a ton of time. I'm working on the website. And what the website is trying to do is to give you a big picture, okay, of what is going on with the GOP and the right wing. You know, I have to tell you this. I'm sorry, I can't pay attention to anti-war stuff right now. And I can't worry about money in politics right now. Addressing those issues is not going to save this country at this point. We are not where we were in 2016. We're not even where we were in 2020, okay? I don't understand what people don't understand about this, but let me give you some real facts here. A month ago, right around this time, actually, the conservative stacked Supreme Court, and this was a stacking that was done deliberately, okay? In the previous administration, the Obama administration, he was not allowed to get a vote on Merrick Garland, even though he had 10 months left in his term, okay? Because the Republicans believed that it should be up for the next president. So therefore, Donald Trump got to a point 3. All conservatives, all conservative Catholics, all really right-wing Catholics, all members of Opus Dei. And in Opus Dei, anybody who knows anything about this secret organization, they are encouraged to bring their faith into their work decisions. But when it came time for Donald Trump to appoint Amy Coney Barrett, and this was right around election time, not 10 months before election time, but right around, that got rammed through because the Republicans were in charge. And it was done specifically so they could overturn Roe v. Wade, which they did last month. So not only did they take away a woman's right to control her own body, okay, but now we had a vote to codify contraception because the great Clarence Thomas has decided that we should look at contraception too, and we should look at gay marriage, and we should look at all of that because it was argued on the same basis of Roe. So we decided to go out there, and the House decided to codify contraception. Fucking contraception. It's 2022. Okay? 2022. 195 Republicans voted against a woman's right to use contraception. We even had one dim-witted woman. I can't even remember her name. It was on Twitter, say that we can't have contraception because it will cause more abortions. Really? Well, you know, the fact of the matter is that contraception is used so that you don't get pregnant. Ergo, fewer abortions. The attack on women in this country is quite real. And if women aren't awake yet, I don't know what's going to wake them up. Maybe if we end up with full-on Gilead, where we are just told to spread our legs so that we can populate the earth, because that's coming next. We have J.D. Vance running for the Senate in Ohio that suggested that women who are in abusive relationships should not get divorces because it makes the children unhappy. It doesn't make the children unhappy to see their mothers beaten by their fathers, but it makes them unhappy if they get a divorce. This is the world we live in. Women are becoming now property of men. That's just for starters. And by the way, if you're an older woman like me, 68 years old, I don't use contraception. And I don't have abortions. I didn't have them when I was 25 because I'm a lesbian. But I have to tell you this, men have never turned me on physically. They're starting to not turn me on mentally either. And I have a lot of male friends. If you're a man and you don't give a shit about what's happening to women, then you're not a man. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Okay? But let's get back to the subject at hand here. If you're also an older woman and you're not concerned with this because it doesn't fall in your NIMBY, not in my backyard thing, let me tell you some of the other things that the new right, and this is what they're calling themselves, want to take away. It's called Medicare. It's called Social Security. Because the Republican Party is in bed with the Heritage Foundation. And these are the things they have already done that have been adopted. Okay? Withdraw global warming regulations on vehicles, power plants, oil, gas activities, and airline emissions. Eliminate 9 climate programs. All of these have been adopted under Trump. Eliminate funding for 2 EPA research programs. Actually, they want to get rid of the EPA. They want to get rid of Social Security disability insurance for children. They want no safety nets. What they think is that you should be able to take care of yourselves as a productive member of society, even though that's not always possible for people because society doesn't allow it. We have the right wing accusing teachers of indoctrinating students, yet they are at the Turning Point USA meeting, which is talking to the youth of America, teaching them how to be misogynists, racists, transphobes, homophobes, and bigots. I posted some of the speeches from Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz. I'll put them in this video. That's what I call indoctrination. The Supreme Court, the ultra-conservative, Christian-driven Supreme Court, has just allowed teachers to lead students in prayer, Christian prayer, even though this country has a whole host of people who are in different religions. And that's the way it should always be. We are not a Christian nation. The founding fathers never said we were a Christian nation. In fact, they said just the opposite. But Ron DeSantis is telling teachers in Florida that they have to teach that there is no separation between church and state. That's indoctrination. Students naturally see teachers as authority figures, so they will pray whether they want to or not. That's indoctrination. And the notion that people will behave themselves more if there's more God in their lives, that's bullshit. I went to Catholic school, okay? I'm sorry, folks. Total bullshit. This country is being driven by Christian nationalists, and that's because the GOP got in bed with the extreme right wing, and they started this way back. This is not new. It is now exploded because Donald Trump was the perfect catalyst to push us right to the brink of fascism and a theocratic form of government. And that is where we sit right now. We are now having our campaigns funded by people who believe that democracy and freedom are not compatible. So in other words, one of them has to go, and that's going to be democracy. We had a president who led an insurrection where people broke into the Capitol building armed. I'm tired of hearing about Ashley Babbitt being a hero. She was an insurrectionist who was told to stop. She did not stop. No one shot Ashley Babbitt in the back like so many policemen do to so many people of color here. Why? Because there's white nationalists and racists in our police departments and in our military, which, by the way, the Republicans also voted against, rooting them out. And we have been warned to root them out before 2024 by 3 retired generals who are afraid that January 6, 2021 is going to happen all over again if the Republicans don't win. We had a president who tried to overturn a legitimate election, first peacefully by trying to steal votes. They have him on tape talking to Raffensperger in Georgia saying, find me 11,570 votes. That's what I need to beat Joe Biden. They have him on tape. No, I'm sorry, folks. This isn't 2016. This is what we have here right now. We have a choice. We can either vote these people out. That is the quickest way to get rid of them. Don't expect the politicians to be able to just fire these people. You don't just fire senators and congressmen. We have 147 legislators out of 221 on the Republican side who voted to overturn a legitimate election. There is no voter fraud going on. Plenty of voter suppression. The Republican Party right now is trying to steal the midterms and the 2024 election by redistricting in the most ridiculous of ways. And if that doesn't work, they'll do whatever it takes to win. They are smelling the blood in the water. I'm going to tell you where some people have come to here. Just hang on a minute, because I understand that not everyone subscribes to The Atlantic, but I do. I am reading an article here by a guy who considers himself a conservative. Okay? This is what he says. I'm not reading the whole article. I will put this in here. I don't know. You may get free articles with The Atlantic. If you've never really opened it up, you'll probably get like 5 free articles. I would advise you to read this article. This is what he says here. I don't speak for all conservatives or any of them if you listen to my critics from the GOP or among the anti-Trump gripers. And I am not going to launch into a long discourse here on Burkean conservatism or John Mill or John Locke or any of that. I have written in bits and pieces about what I think, at least for me, constitutes a conservative temperament, including ideas about human nature, the role of government, civic virtue, and the balance between freedom and responsibility. There is always responsibility with freedom, folks. And there is this thing called civic virtue, which means you get your ass off the fucking sofa and vote. You live in a country where you can vote. And when you have 34% and 50% as your numbers, it's pathetic, because there are people in other countries who would like the right to vote. The fact remains, however, that many of us are now in a coalition with an array of groups on our left. That would be me. Among our former comrades on the right, this makes us apostates, defectors, and heretics. Still, we cannot make a permanent home with our temporary liberal roommates. Now, he's not actually saying this. He's saying this, to make people understand that this is the way others feel. We don't like the panties on the curtain rod, and they don't like the notes we leave on the pillow. And yet here we are, because none of the issues that would normally matter between right and left matter as much as the future of democracy. A conservative who cares about the future of the constitutional order must face the reality that the Republican Party has become a menace to the Constitution and our system of government. Absolutely. That is absolutely the case. We can't deal with war. We can't deal with poverty. We can't deal with overturning Citizens United and stopping the flow of money until we make sure that we still have some kind of government to work with. What I am conserving by being a conservative is our political order and the future freedom to argue and advocate within that order. The banter between liberals and conservatives is important when it comes to policy, but not when it comes to getting in people's bedrooms, telling people that gay is not okay, taking signs off classroom doors that are safe areas. They're not safe anymore. Stopping bullying regulations in schools so that it's open season on gays and lesbian kids now. This is sick, folks. This isn't the way this was meant to be here. This is why, for the duration of this national emergency, one that began in 2017 and is not over yet, I approach policies and politicians with 2 questions that, again, for me, now override my policy preferences. Does this issue strengthen or weaken the Republicans as they continue to advocate for sedition and authoritarianism? Number 2, does this political figure caucus with Republicans? Will he or she vote to make Kevin McCarthy the Speaker of the House and Mitch McConnell the Majority Leader of the Senate? Everything else runs in third place. The practical effect here is that I will root for GOP defeats on policy, even where I might otherwise agree with them. The institutional Republican Party must be weakened enough so that it can't carry out the larger project of undermining our elections and curtailing our rights as citizens. End of story. End of story, folks. We are in a world of trouble here. And I don't understand what you don't understand about this. I am working on the website. I can't even keep up with the number of fucking things that are going on here that just blow my mind, that I never thought I was going to see in my lifetime. Okay? Now I am left with the prospect of leaving two kids here, a 26-year-old and a 21-year-old, one of whom is transgender. That's the prospect I am faced with. And that is why I do what I do, because I'm going to tell you right now, at my age, I would rather be doing something fucking else than what I'm doing. I promise you. I'm warning you people. You had better wake up, and you had better plan on getting your ass off the sofa and voting. I would advise you right now to make sure that the Republican Party does not take either the House or the Senate. Right now, they're projected to take the House, but not the Senate. No one really knows what's going on because there's a whole shitload of gerrymandering going on. But I can't imagine anybody sitting back after listening to what these people are saying and just allowing this to happen. I promise you that this will become a bigger dystopian nightmare than it already is if they take power back. They already have a list of things they're planning on doing. They want to eliminate the CDC. Good luck with the next pandemic, because right now there's almost 1.5 million people dead from COVID-19. That is not normal, okay? And even if this becomes an endemic illness in America, it's going to kill way more than the flu ever did in aggregate. There are already new pestilences on the horizon. They want to get rid of the EPA. The Supreme Court has already limited what the government can do to stop power plants from reducing emissions. I've already read to you a number of things that they've killed with climate change. Climate change isn't a joke. We just had 7 days of 90-degree plus heat wave in Massachusetts. That is not fucking normal. Sidewalks melting in England is not fucking normal. And every time we pull this stunt here in America, we affect the rest of the fucking planet. There is no more common good in America. We're all a nation of individual I, me minds. It's time to wake up, and you better do it fast. I'll talk to y'all later.